And yes, let me come back to Manipur. The Jiribam episode has led to a lot of questions being asked. A lot of questions have not been answered. A lot of issues remain unresolved. There were reports of firing in the Morangpur area, which lies along the boundary of the Kangpokpi and Imphal East. And this particular event happened on Wednesday. However, we have been given to believe that no injury has been reported from the gunfire. The villagers alleged that it was KUKI militants who were behind the intermittent firing incident. But that's not the basic story. The basic story is the security forces rushed in to take control of the situation. But some of the soldiers were blocked by women's group who were protesting against the presence of the army unit in the area. These women protesters, primarily, it's being alleged, Mera Paibis, blocked Assam Rifles from carrying out their duties, and it was widely reported in the newspaper. And they also protested that the two villager volunteers who were arrested be released. The women's group blockaded the road, urging the security forces to set villagers free, as I said, and even got into a brief confrontation with the soldiers. They were angry, they surrounded the vehicles, they were all over the place. This comes in the wake of the last week's violence in Jiribam, which has displaced more than 2,000 people. The majority of them are Meiteis who have been displaced. The KUKIs are claiming that they too have been targeted there. Houses have been burned, the chowkis have been burned, torched by armed miscreants. They asked why security forces were removing them from their homes instead of protecting them from their attackers. Now, Meitei civil society organizations have alleged that the central government's strategy of evacuating Meitei villages under the guise of protection has instead facilitated the occupation of these areas by the KUKI groups. They also allege that the demographic reshuffling in the name of safety is a tactical maneuver that favors the KUKIs and displaces the Meitei communities. Let me just stop here and try to explain one thing. This land grab which is taking place in Manipur in name of safety, where claims and counterclaims are happening by both the communities, is not correct. And stopping of the security forces in name of justice is also not correct. Another incident had taken place on June 11, 2024, when the security forces apprehended two active Prepak members in the Thubal district. Manipur police disclosed that they had seized items including 4 mobile phones and cash. This handling of the security forces by the civil society organization is a very, very disturbing issue. I think for the first time we are witnessing in Manipur that the civil society organizations are actually preventing the army from doing its job. It is not fair. And secondly, when Meitei organizations are saying that they require protection in Jiribam and they should not be moved out, I think it's a fair point. One, no one wants to be displaced from their residence. India has seen one such event where in the name of security, when Kashmiri Pandits were moved away from Kashmir, they could just never go back. Kashmiri Pandits could never go back. And even today, they remain refugees in their home. So one thing is that if we are trying to move people outside their houses, traditional places of living, then we are ending up creating internal refugees. They must be protected there and then. They must be protected and given security. The second issue of women organization not allowing Assam Rifles to do the job is also not a done thing. Indian Army, Assam Rifle is a professional organization. They should be allowed to do the job. And today I wanted to raise these 2 points which I feel very strongly about. One, Army must be allowed to do job, and women volunteers should not be allowed to come in between the job they are doing. And secondly, the answers, the questions which the Meitei community has asked is also very relevant. That protection should be given there and there. The displacement would lead to occupation of their land and houses by other community. So they should be given protection there rather than being moved to safer areas. Because one, it will prevent ghettoization. Secondly, they will not have to live in refugee camps. And thirdly, the demarcation will not become permanent. Manipur is part of the Prime Minister's plan. Mohan Bhagwat has also addressed the issue. He has categorically said that these issues need to be resolved. We at News9 Live believe that Manipur is a story which should be covered in entirety. And let me play out a pick loop. And this is the pick loop, and the reason why I'm putting this out is also very, very important. Why this pick loop is important? This pick loop is important because this pick loop tells us a story. In continuation of the deportation process of immigrants, the government of Manipur has deported 38 Myanmar nationals to their home country. So it does tell us, it has been tweeted by Biren Singh, it does tell us that there is a problem of illegal immigration. And that too needs to be addressed. But I think the biggest problem is, which I will continue to bring about, is a conversation around Manipur. Free and frank conversation. Free views. Fair views. And in end, I would say, if communities don't want to leave, they should be given protection there. And no one should allow, and no one should be allowed to prevent the government from doing its job.